Have you ever noticed how life seems to have a sense of humor? It's as if the whole of existence is playing a grand joke, and we're all part of it. This video will take you on a fascinating exploration of the comedic nature of our world, from the tiniest quirks to the grandest cosmic ironies. Let's start by looking at the laughter we find in nature. The world around us is full of surprises that can make us chuckle. Think about the playful antics of animals in the wild. They don't just survive, they also seem to have fun. Some creatures look so unusual that you can't help but smile. And then there are those unexpected natural events that catch us off guard and remind us that the Earth has its own sense of humor. But the comedy doesn't stop on our planet. The cosmos itself is full of jokes. Space is vast and mysterious, but it's also home to some truly weird facts that might make you laugh. The laws of physics, which govern everything in the universe, can be downright quirky when you really think about them. And isn't it funny how we worry about small daily problems when we're just tiny specks in an enormous universe? Coming back down to earth, our everyday lives are filled with little ironies that can be pretty amusing if we pay attention. We've all experienced those common mix-ups that make us shake our heads and grin. Then there are those coincidences that seem too perfect to be random, as if life itself is setting up a punchline. And who hasn't had a carefully laid plan go hilariously wrong? Even our own bodies like to play jokes on us. Some of our bodily functions are downright odd when you stop to think about them. We have reflexes that don't always make sense, and our brains can play the funniest tricks on us. It's like we're walking around in a personal comedy show all the time. The way we communicate is another rich source of humor. Languages are full of puns and wordplay that can make us groan or giggle. When we try to translate from one language to another, the results can be unintentionally hilarious. And how many times have you realized you've been singing the wrong lyrics to a song for years? In our modern world, technology has joined in on the fun. Autocorrect seems to have a mischievous mind of its own, often changing our messages in the most embarrassing ways. Artificial intelligence, for all its sophistication, can sometimes produce humor that's delightfully absurd. And our gadgets, they sometimes act like they have a hidden agenda to make our lives more interesting. Looking back through history, we can find plenty of comedic moments. There are so many funny historical facts that it's hard to believe they're true. World leaders, despite their serious roles, have often said things that make us laugh. And some of the laws from the past are so bizarre that they seem like jokes themselves. With all this humor around us, it's worth learning the art of finding it. Seeing the funny side of challenges can make life much more enjoyable. Being able to laugh at ourselves is a valuable skill that can help us through tough times. And using humor to connect with others can create bonds that last a lifetime. Humor isn't just for fun. It's a powerful tool for living a better life. Laughter has real health benefits, both for our bodies and our minds. A well-timed joke can ease tension in difficult situations, and finding joy in the absurd aspects of life can help us cope with its complexities. When we step back and look at the big picture, we can see how humor connects us all. Laughter truly is a universal language. No matter where we come from or what language we speak, a good laugh can bring people together. And by finding meaning in life's comedic moments, we can gain a deeper appreciation for our existence. As we go through life, it's important to keep our eyes open for the funny side of things. The world is full of humor if we know how to look for it. By cultivating a sense of humor, we can make our lives and the lives of those around us more enjoyable. Now let's dive deeper into each of these aspects of humor in existence. When we talk about laughter in nature, we're looking at a world that's far more playful than we often realize. Animals, for instance, don't just engage in behaviors for survival. Many species, especially young ones, spend time playing games that seem to have no purpose other than fun. This playfulness isn't limited to mammals either. Even some birds and reptiles show behaviors that look a lot like play. The animal kingdom is also home to creatures that seem designed to make us smile. From the awkward waddle of penguins to the comical expressions of certain monkeys, nature has produced a cast of characters that could rival any comedian's repertoire. These animals remind us that evolution doesn't always prioritize sleek efficiency. Sometimes it creates creatures that are just fun to look at. Nature's sense of humor isn't limited to its creatures. The planet itself seems to enjoy a good laugh now and then. Think about the unexpected ways weather can change our plans, or how a perfectly timed gust of wind can create a moment of slapstick comedy. Even plants can surprise us with their quirks, like the sensitive plant that dramatically folds its leaves when touched, as if it's playing a game of "you can't see me." Moving beyond our planet, the cosmos offers its own brand of humor. Space, in all its vastness, is filled with phenomena that can make us chuckle when we learn about them. For instance, there's a giant cloud of alcohol floating in space, spanning an area many times the size of our solar system. It's not the kind of alcohol we can drink, but the idea of a cosmic cocktail is pretty amusing. The laws of physics, which govern everything from the tiniest particle to the largest galaxy, have their own quirky side. Quantum mechanics, in particular, presents us with ideas that seem more like jokes than serious science. Particles that can be in two places at once, or that change their behavior when observed, sound like the punchlines to cosmic jokes. And then there's the sheer scale of the universe, which puts our daily concerns into a humorous perspective. We might stress about being a few minutes late for a meeting, but in the grand scheme of things, our entire civilization has existed for less than a blink of an eye in cosmic time. It's a reminder that sometimes our worries are funny in their insignificance. Coming back to our everyday lives, we find that existence is full of little ironies. How often have you spent ages looking for something only to find it was right in front of you the whole time? Or have you ever corrected someone else's grammar only to make a grammatical mistake yourself in the process? These moments are like little cosmic jokes played on us. Coincidences can be another source of amusement in our daily lives. Sometimes events align in ways that seem too perfect to be random, as if the universe is setting up an elaborate punchline. You might think of a friend you haven't seen in years, only to bump into them on the street 5 minutes later. Or you could be humming a particular song, turn on the radio, and find that very song playing. Our carefully made plans often go awry in ways that, while frustrating at the time, can be pretty funny in hindsight. Maybe you've prepared an elaborate outdoor event, checking the weather forecast obsessively, only to have an unexpected shower appear out of nowhere. Or perhaps you've tried to impress someone with a new skill, only to fail spectacularly in the most humorous way possible. Even our own bodies seem to be in on the joke. We have bodily functions that, while necessary, can be pretty amusing when you think about them. Hiccups, for instance, serve no apparent purpose, but can disrupt our day in the most comical way. Sneezing, while important for clearing out nasal passages, can come at the most inopportune moments, creating awkward but funny situations. Our bodies are full of reflexes that don't always make logical sense. The knee-jerk reflex, for example, seems like a practical joke played by our nervous system. And then there's the way our stomachs can growl loudly at the most inappropriate times, as if they have a mind of their own and a mischievous sense of timing. Our brains, as amazing as they are, like to play tricks on us too. Optical illusions show us how easily our perception can be fooled, often in amusing ways. We can misremember events, combining different memories into unlikely scenarios that never actually happened. And who hasn't had the experience of walking into a room and immediately forgetting why we went there in the first place? The way we communicate is another rich source of humor in our existence. Languages are full of quirks that can lead to amusing misunderstandings. Puns and wordplay show how the same words or sounds can have multiple meanings, often with hilarious results. Even in our native language, we can find ourselves tripping over words or accidentally creating spoonerisms that make us laugh. When we try to communicate across language barriers, the potential for humor multiplies. Translation errors can lead to signs and instructions that are unintentionally hilarious. Menu translations, in particular, can produce some truly bizarre and amusing descriptions of dishes. Music, a universal form of communication, isn't immune to humorous misunderstandings either. Many of us have had the experience of confidently singing along to a song for years, only to discover that we've been belting out the wrong lyrics the entire time. These mondegreens, as they're called, can be incredibly funny when we finally realize our mistake. In our modern world, technology has become a new source of humor. Autocorrect, designed to help us communicate more efficiently, often seems to have a mind of its own. It can change innocent messages into embarrassing or nonsensical ones, creating moments of confusion and laughter. Artificial intelligence, despite its sophistication, can produce output that's unintentionally hilarious. AI-generated text or images sometimes combine concepts in ways that no human would, resulting in absurd and amusing creations. These moments remind us that, for all our technological advances, machines still have a long way to go before they truly understand human communication and culture. Our everyday gadgets, from smartphones to smart home devices, sometimes act in ways that make us wonder if they're playing jokes on us. A GPS that insists we drive into a lake, a voice assistant that misinterprets a simple command in the most amusing way possible, or a printer that works perfectly until the moment we really need it. These technological mishaps add a layer of comedy to our modern lives. Looking back through history, we can find plenty of moments that seem almost too funny to be true. There are countless historical facts that, viewed from our modern perspective, seem more like jokes than reality. For instance, in 1518 in Strasbourg, there was a dancing plague, where people danced uncontrollably for days. Or consider the Great Molasses Flood of 1919 in Boston, where a large molasses storage tank burst, sending a wave of molasses through the streets at 35 miles. Even world leaders, despite the seriousness of their positions, have often said things that make us laugh. Whether it's a slip of the tongue during an important speech or an intentional attempt at humor that missed the mark, these moments humanize historical figures and remind us that even the most powerful people can be sources of amusement. Some laws from the past are so bizarre that they seem like they must be jokes. In Britain, it was once illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. In France, it was illegal to name a pig Napoleon. These strange laws, many of which are still technically on the books, show how societal norms and concerns can change over time, often with humorous results. Given how much humor surrounds us, it's worth developing the art of finding it. Seeing the funny side of challenges can make difficult situations more bearable. It's not about making light of serious issues, but rather finding moments of levity that can help us cope with stress and adversity. Being able to laugh at ourselves is a particularly valuable skill. It helps us maintain perspective and not take ourselves too seriously. When we can find humor in our own mistakes or quirks, we become more resilient and approachable. Using humor to connect with others is another important aspect of this art. Shared laughter creates bonds between people, breaking down barriers and creating a sense of camaraderie. A well-timed joke can ease tension in a group, make a stranger feel welcome, or help smooth over a misunderstanding. Humor isn't just for entertainment. It's a powerful tool for living a better life. Laughter has been shown to have real health benefits. It can lower stress hormones, boost our immune system, and even provide a mild workout for our abdominal muscles. On a psychological level, humor can help us process difficult emotions and experiences, providing a healthy coping mechanism. In tense or awkward situations, humor can be a valuable tool for diffusing conflict. A light-hearted comment can break tension and help people see things from a different perspective. Of course, this requires sensitivity and good timing, but when done well, it can turn a potentially negative situation into a positive one. Finding joy in the absurd aspects of life is another way humor can improve our daily experience. When we learn to appreciate the inherent silliness in many of our routines and social conventions, we can find amusement in situations that might otherwise be frustrating or boring. When we step back and look at the big picture, we can see how humor connects us all. Laughter truly is a universal language. No matter where we come from, what language we speak, or what cultural background we have, a genuine laugh is recognizable and contagious. This universal nature of humor can bring people together across cultural divides. A shared laugh can create a connection between people who might otherwise have little in common. It's a reminder of our shared humanity, a way of recognizing that despite our differences, we all experience joy in similar ways. By finding meaning in life's comedic moments, we can gain a deeper appreciation for our existence. Humor allows us to step back from the seriousness of life and see things from a different perspective. It can help us recognize the beauty in imperfection and find joy in unexpected places. As we go through life, it's important to keep our eyes open for the funny side of things. The world is full of humor if we know how to look for it. This doesn't mean ignoring serious issues or avoiding responsibility, but rather maintaining a balanced perspective that allows us to appreciate life's inherent comedy. Cultivating a sense of humor can make our lives and the lives of those around us more enjoyable. It's a skill that can be developed over time with practice and intention. By learning to find humor in everyday situations, we can become more resilient, more connected to others, and more appreciative of the wonderful absurdity of existence. The whole of existence truly is full of jokes, from the cosmic scale to our everyday lives, from nature to technology, from history to our own bodies. There's humor to be found everywhere. By recognizing and appreciating this humor, we can live richer, more joyful lives. So the next time you find yourself taking life too seriously, remember to look for the joke. It might be in an unexpected coincidence, a quirky natural phenomenon, a technological mishap, or even in your own reaction to a challenging situation. By finding the humor in existence, you're not just having a laugh. You're participating in one of the most fundamental and joyful aspects of being alive. Remember, life doesn't always have to make perfect sense. Sometimes the most logical response to the absurdity of existence is simply to laugh. So go ahead, join in the cosmic comedy show. After all, the joke's on all of us, and that's what makes it so funny.